Thank you, Mr. Secretary. In your 6-point plan, how many migrants that went through due process you plan to remove this year? Do you have a number that you plan removals? Do you have a number?
We don't have a predictive number.
So you don't have, in your plan, you don't set a number, right? You don't plan that this is so many the minimum people do. So you don't have a number for that?
No, because it's
okay.
a function, Congresswoman, of a number of different variables, but what we will do, and as our plan indicates, is we will maximize the effectiveness
Well, maximize is not work. I would like to hear the number at some point, but let's just next. Do you believe, in light of everything what's happening right now in Europe and the war, big war, do you think there are some significant national security concerns at our border also? Just tell me yes or no.
I believe that, ma'am, the situation, Congresswoman, that any individual who seeks to do us
harm, I'm talking about there is increased risk at the border due to war in Europe. Do you believe there's an increased national security risk at the border due to war in Europe? Yes or no?
I want to make sure I understand your question. Does the number of individuals...
No. I'm talking about an individual. Do you assess, as a chief executive of agencies that provide border security, there is increased risk of security, national security risk at our southern border due to war, major war happening in Europe? Do you believe the risk is escalated, is increased?
By reason of what has occurred
in Europe? Yes, in Europe and the war in Ukraine.
What we are seeing...
yes or no? Like, just answer. Do you have increased risk or not?
What we are seeing, Congresswoman, if you would allow me, what we are seeing is an increased number of individuals seeking humanitarian relief.
So you don't think there is a national security risk? Okay, how many people do you think, do you believe that Border Patrol is actually overwhelmed and right now and have a really low morale? What do you think?
Congresswoman, the morale in U.S. Customs and Border Protection in the Border Patrol is low. There's no question.
Do you believe they're overwhelmed?
About that, and they are under strain, which is why
because they're
we
very
are taking,
overwhelmed. Okay, so the question is, but how many people, do you have a number, how many people were released by Border Patrol under prosecutorial authority without giving notice to appear? Just getting in the country because they don't have even capacity to handle. Do you have that number?
Congresswoman, yes, I do.
So what is that number?
Because it's not...
Just a number. How many people were released
Congresswoman,
without
would you allow me to answer your question?
Yeah, please do, because I need to have more questions, so I need to
I understand,
precise.
but your question is imprecise.
Yes.
Because right now, those individuals are being released on either a notice to appear or parole with alternatives to detention. We no longer use the notice to report that we used.
So how many was, but you used, well, how many were that reduced without just innocent? How many? Do you have that number when you did that?
Yes, I do. Your question is, how many individuals were released on a notice to appear?
No, without
for example?
Without it.
In fiscal year 2021, because right now we are not using the notice to report.
Just give me the number. I don't need the full statements.
In fiscal year 2021, 144,383 were transferred to ICE enforcement.
No, not ICE. They're actually given to them, go directly from the border in the country without any documentation. Under prosecutorial authority, I've been in the border 4 times, and that happened. You're not aware that it's happening? In the Texas border, you're not aware about that?
You're asking your question.
My question is where the Border Patrol has no ability to do processing, so they just send them without documentation inside the country, get on the bus, and they go there. So you're not aware that it's happening under prosecutorial authority?
No,
if you're not aware, let's talk about it. Are you aware how many people, like I just was at one section of the border, and I talked to Border Patrol. They detect about, in small section, about 300 people per day going undetected, not caught, but they see on camera. Only 25% of their sector has camera. Do you know how many people cross this border? Do you have a number, estimate, that were not detected by any cameras and couldn't be stopped by Border Patrol because they have a limited capacity? Do you have an estimate?
Are you asking me how many gotaways?
No, not got away. They just pretty much cross the border. Do you have that number? What is your estimate? How many people?
I just want to make sure I understand your question.
You understand that there are some people that cross the border, we see on camera, no resources to catch, and some border sections do not have camera. What is your estimate? How many people can cross the border, be completely undetected? What is your estimate?
Completely undetected?
Yes.
or.
What is your
or-
estimate?
Or observed and not apprehended as well.
Both, not undetected, because we don't observe some of them. Let's say how many undetected, not observed.
Ms. Congresswoman, your question's quite imprecise. In fiscal year of 2020.
I just don't understand that you don't have questions on this
The
question.
gentlelady's time has expired. The witness may answer the
In
question.
fiscal year 2021, there were 389,155 gotaways.
It's
That
not
is the
gotaways.
term.
Gentlelady's
Mr.
time has
Chair,
expired.
I
The
think,
witness.
But I think you're not answering my question, and I will answer that in writing, because
The
this is
gentlelady's time
very
has
incompetent.
expired. The gentlelady no longer has the floor. The witness is in the process of answering her last question and may proceed.
I answered it, Mr. Chairman. I gave the figure.
Not.
Very well. The time of the
Gotaways.
gentlelady has
You did not.
expired. Ms. Dean.